think we can actually see that there's not a big difference between the animal protecting laws in France and animal protecting laws in Mexico. The thing is that in France they actually do something. In Mexico we have the laws but we don't do anything. And in France they actually have organizations that work, and they have laws that are applied, and in Mexico that doesn't happen. Even though we have laws and even though we have organizations, they're not as big as in France, and the laws are not quite followed, and nobody does anything.
Actually, in Mexico, the cockfighting, it is not forbidden, and actually it is a bad treatment to the animals.
Well, in Mexico, we don't have the animal care culture because people underestimate the animals and they don't care about what they do with them. And instead, in France, they really care about animals, like the pets. Like they take them to spas and all those things. Here in Mexico, we just have a pet, and it's not that important for us. It's just like sometimes it's like a luxury thing. Like, oh, I have a pet, and I have a really expensive pet, and like talking about eating animals. We just eat them. Instead, in France, they care about the animals and they eat them, but they raise them again and to eat them again. So the animals and the environment, it doesn't have any like consequences of that. So they can live like in a balance with the animals.
The laws that we find about cruelty animal in Mexico are that the people who commit this cruelty animal must be in jail and pay a fine. Well, the jail is about 4 years, and if someone finds that a child is making animal cruelty, they must give them a psychological treatment. And the last one is that if someone is committing this, they must be in a prevention program and an education program.
The laws that we created were that before acquiring any pet, you must pass a socioeconomic test. There must be an organization that makes sure that animals are well treated by their owners. Other is that penalty to animal cruelty. One is an eye for an eye, and the experimentation with people who have committed animal cruelty must be approved.
It is forbidden to wear real animal skin in clothes, just the synthetic one. And another law that we create is that animal treatment must be taught by the parents and by the school in order to prevent future animal cruelty.
If there is an animal on the street, you must take him to a place where he can receive a proper treatment. If you know about a person you mistreat an animal, you must accuse him to receive a real punishment.
Yeah. We consider that these changes have to be made in the laws in Mexico. First of all, because we don't think everybody should be able to buy a pet, because if you're not going to sustain it or if you're not going to love it the way you have to, the animals are going to end up on the street, and that's not good because some other people can mistreat them, and it just becomes a really bad circle. And we also think that experimentation with animals is something that is not right, because animals in the end are also living beings and they have to be treated right. We also think that even though in Mexico there are many organizations that help animals, there should be one official organization in Mexico that works with the government to implement the animal protecting laws and also to avoid animal mistreating. This is important because even though there are many organizations, they're all really small, so they don't have really a big impact, and the impact is important because we have to make people understand.
Many children do have a pet, and sometimes they don't know how to manage and take care of them. So sometimes they end like killing them, like unconsciously. Inconscientemente, no. Sí, no, sigue, o sea, esa parte de sigue.
Unconsciously.
Unconsciously. Here is where the parents must have to analyze this like activity or case and take their child to psychological assessment, because this is like a bad pattern for them, and then they can like be able to take care in the right way for a pet.
The law about the skin clothes of animals, it's because the people that usually mistreat the animals and sometimes kill them for just having their skin. So in order to prevent all that stuff, we create a law about accusing someone of making animal cruelty is for reduce the person that commit this crime and make them to have a proper fine or a proper punishment about it.
Also, the law of that is explained that the animal treatment must be taught by the parents and schools in order to reduce future people that injure animals. And the law explains that an animal have to be taken a place where it can be treated is to create a consciousness in the society, to have this habit and take care about the animals that didn't have an owner.